Even as the Leopard 1 was just entering service, the West German military was interested in producing an improved tank in the next decade. This resulted in the start of the Me-70 development in cooperation with the United States beginning in 1963. However, already in 1967 it became questionable whether the Me-70 would enter service at any time in the foreseeable future. Therefore, the German government issued the order to research future upgrade options for the Leopard 1 to the German company Porsche in 1967. This study was named Vergoldeter Leopard Gilded Leopard and focused on incorporating advanced technology into the Leopard design. The projected upgrades added an auto-loader, a coaxial autocannon, and an independent commander's periscope. The anti-air machine gun could be operated from inside the vehicle, and a TV surveillance camera was mounted on an extendable mast. The shape of the turret and hull was optimized using cast steel armor, while the suspension, transmission, and engine exhaust vents were improved. Following the end of the Gilded Leopard study in 1967, the West German government decided to focus on the experimental Entwicklung experimental development in a feasibility study, and to develop new components for upgrading the Leopard 1 and for use on a future main battle tank program. At first, 25 million DM were invested, but after the industry came to the conclusion that with such a low budget the development of the two projected test beds was not possible, a total of 30 to 32 million DM was invested. The experimental development was contracted to the company Krauss-Maffei, but with the obligation to cooperate with Porsche for the development of the chassis and with Wegmann for the development of the turret. Two prototypes with different components were built with the aim of improving the conception of Leopard 1 in such a way that it would match the firepower requirements of the Me-70. A high first hit probability at ranges of 2,000 meters, 6,600 ft, and the ability to accurately engage targets on the move using a computerized fire control system were the main goals of the experimental development. The resulting vehicles were nicknamed Kyler Tusker. Two prototypes at 01 and at 02 of the Kyler were built in 1969 and 1970, both of them being powered by the MV-872 engine. The Me-70 was a revolutionary design, but after large cost overruns and technological problems, Germany withdrew from the project in 1969. After unsuccessful attempts at saving the Me-70 by conceptual changes in order to eliminate the biggest issue, driver being seated in the turret, it became clear in late 1969 that Germany would stop the binational development. The Assistant Secretary of the Military Procurement Division of the German Ministry of Defense suggested reusing as many technologies developed for the Me-70 as possible in a further program, which was nicknamed Eberbor due to his being named Eberhard. The Eber used a modified Me-70 turret and hull, with the driver being seated in the hull. Only a wooden mock-up was made. 1 year later, a choice was made to continue the development based on the earlier Kyler project of the late 1960s, instead of finishing the development of the Eber. In 1971, the name of the design was determined as Leopard 2, with the original Leopard retroactively becoming the Leopard 1, and Paul Werner Kraft became the project officer of the Leopard 2 program. Originally, two versions were projected: the gun-armed Leopard 2K and the Leopard 2 FK, which would be armed with the XM150 gun/launcher weapon of the Me-70. In 1971, 17 prototypes were ordered, but only 16 hulls were built as the production of hull PT-12 was cancelled. 10 were ordered initially before another 7 were ordered. The 17 turrets were designated T1 to T17, and the hulls were designated PD1 to PD11 and PD13 to PD17. To test a larger number of components and concepts, each prototype was fitted with components not found on the other prototypes. 10 of the turrets were equipped with 105mm smoothbore guns, and the other 7 prototypes were equipped with a 120mm smoothbore gun. Hulls PT-11 and PT-17 were fitted with a hydro pneumatic suspension based on the PT-70 design. The running gears of these two hulls had only 6 road wheels. Different types of auxiliary power units APUs were mounted in the prototypes. All turrets were equipped with a machine gun for air defense, except the turret mounted on PT-11, where a 20mm remotely operated autocannon was mounted. With the exception of hulls PT-7, PT-9, PT-15, and PT-17, all prototypes used the MB-873 engine. The road wheels were taken from the PT-70 and the return rollers from the Leopard 1. The prototypes were designed with a projected weight of MLC-50, which equals approximately 47.5 tons, 46.7 long tons, 52.4 short tons. The welded turret utilized spaced armor formed by 2 steel plates. The prototypes were equipped with an EAMS-12 optical rangefinder and fire control system, which later was adopted on the Leopard 1A4. In mid-1973, a new turret was designed by Wegmann, saving 1.5 tons, 1.7 short tons in weight. It was nicknamed the Spitz-Mausturm Shrew turret due to the highly sloped front. This design was only possible with the new EAMS-13 optical rangefinder, which required a base length of only 350mm 14 in instead of the previous 1,720mm 68 in. 19 based on experiences in the Yom Kippur War. A higher level of protection than the prototype's heavily sloped spaced armor was demanded in late 1973, and the Spitz-Mausturm was never produced. The weight limit was increased from MLC-50 to MLC-60, which equals approximately 55 tons, 54 long tons, 61 short tons. The T-14 turret was modified to test a new armor configuration, taking on a blockier-looking appearance as a result of using vertical modules of spaced multi-layer armor. It was also used to test the new EAMS-13 optical rangefinder. The modified T-14 turret was designated T-14 Modern and was fitted with a fully electric turret drive and stabilization system, which was developed jointly by General Electric and AEG Telefunken.